Welcome, friends. Thanks for coming, and to my actual great relief, fewer and fewer are coming each time. Whew, what a relief. I was getting nervous for a minute. Now we can just relax. It's just us. All the usual suspects here. Hey, Cami, great to see you. Stephanie Martin, great to see you as well. Dr. Bass Ackwards, I'm glad we got that cleared up for you. Danny K, good to see you as well. And Louis T, and Captain Mojo, and Sue. Hey, friend, I am so sorry I wasn't able to reach out this weekend. I have been quite ill. Unfortunately, if you were here this morning, I had to shut it down pretty quickly. Was just not feeling particularly well, and I haven't for the last several days. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to, fish for sympathy or anything. I think you guys know what the score is. Oh, it's just ugly. And it last couple of days. Sometimes it's good, but better days than others, and sometimes not as good. Fortunately, it hasn't too badly impacted my ability to do live streaming. Occasionally it has. I've had to pass on some Secrets of Saturn episodes that are just at the time of day where it really hits hard in the evening. But no, it's sometimes it just doesn't work out. And so this morning it was pretty tough. Hey, welcome. Good to have you here again. Again, I apologize for this morning being abbreviated, as have many of the streams over the last several weeks have been a bit shorter than usual. I did take a bit of a break, a couple of weeks off to try to sort some things, and I was hoping to get things better sorted, I think. Certainly with this health garbage. So just the quick update there. The visit that I had with the doctor on Friday really was just kind of to cover the things that we had previously done in the previous round of testing and to set up the next round of testing, and that we have exchanged. There was several sonograms, and it was determined that we would replace at least one of those with a CAT scan for the abdomen and see if we can get better imaging there and see if we have a better idea of what's happening. So we were, however, able to rule out a number of things, which on its own, I suppose, is some good news. On the other hand, what it leaves you is that the fewer options are, again, further away and more glaringly problematic if it turns out to be that. But right now, we just don't know anything. So I agree, Cami. To this point, I mentioned this earlier, and I told Karen B. offline that to this point I have been, frankly, guys, I've never really been really sick in my life. I mean, I've had a couple of things. I had to have a couple of surgeries, just, physiological stuff. I had a shoulder injury that needed repair, and I had a synovial cyst at L5S1, which created an impingement on the synovial nerve. So it was like 30,000 pinched nerves, and so I had to have a lumbar laminectomy to address that. It seemed a strange method to do it, but it did work for the most part. And so while I'm unhappy that was required to do it, I am certainly pleased with the outcome for the most part. But generally, no, I've never was a sickly kid. In fact, the worst I've ever been ill. One time I had a bronchial infection in my early 20s that I let, because a stupid kid, I was too, stubborn to go to the doctor. My wife, she knows what that's about. Anyway, I let it go, and I was sick for, like a month. And in fact, I didn't, it's a long story, but I had changed jobs. I went from working in radio to working for a tech company. And when I did that, I got rid of much of my tech. It was weird. I got rid of my pager at the time, and I just was tired of a certain way of living, and so I didn't even have a phone at home. In fact, I didn't until I got tired of not being able to order a pizza, which seems weird to me now. Anyway, so no one could reach me, and finally my mom, being unable to reach me, came to check on me and saw me in a terrible state after, 3 weeks. And so I didn't even realize. She grabbed me and took me to her house, and then took me to the doctor. And when I finally awoke, he's like, "Oh, you were a very ill little boy." I was in my 20s, but yeah, it was very close to death, having let it turn into a bronchial infection that only became pneumonia, but still, it was the infection that was about to kill me. I since then have had, bronchitis to some degree or another, but never really sickly. So never broke a bone until, 6 or 7 years ago, I slipped on the ice and fell from a height. And of course, you put your arm out, and so I cracked it. But other than that, I'd never had never been sick. And so I just... yeah, and again, I feel like Dad's not done with me. So I didn't really feel a sense of urgency, other than it was just a pain in the ass. No one likes spending their days throwing up and being sick. It's just not fun. And there, GI is not just the one end, it's both. And so it's just no fun. Trust me. It is gross and nobody wants to talk about it. And you can't go anywhere and you're just not comfortable and you just don't feel human. It's just a whole bunch of, it's bad. Anyway, and so I have a great deal of compassion for those who have like Crohn's and, my dad had ulcerative colitis, right? So I feel a great sense of compassion for people who deal with this all their lives. And, IBS, I have it. It's been recent. And, it's so unpleasant. And then, anyway, so all I'm going to use the doctor for is to figure out what the hell's wrong with me and get it done. But this over the last 24 hours, it was just a moment where it's the first time I've ever been really concerned because I woke up this morning and suddenly had a variety of like new weird symptoms, a lot of pain, weird, deep, agonizing, burning pains and localized, just very localized. It felt almost exactly like what some people have described to me that bone cancer feels like, which is very odd. Anyway, I don't think it's that. I'm just saying but it was concerning, and the really concerning thing, and it feels awkward saying this because it's awkward admitting it. Both Madeline and I had similar symptoms, and we have very different medical histories. And suddenly we have similar symptoms. Like what the hell is that? And so she is far less conspiratorial minded than am I, and she went directly toward we're being attacked, and I'm like, well, certainly we have a high likelihood, increasingly high likelihood that it is environmental in some way. We are very near, a huge multiple military installations and spook centers here. So who knows what they're doing out there? And I certainly see it go on from time to time. I'm aware of such things. So it wouldn't surprise me. And so we are redoubling our effort. I mean, we've always, since we made the decision to leave, we're planning on leaving, but there is no Lot's wife action here. We're not turning back. We have to go. And so who knows? But it's discouraging, and it's been a really tough, challenging week. Just a lot of different things. And so I felt really, really bad yesterday and today. Yesterday I had a series of people lined up that I had not only wanted, but frankly promised to talk to. I've been meaning to forever. And typically, again, my schedule is after the morning stream on Saturday. I'll grab a bite with the wife, and then we just lay down and kind of snuggle with each other for a little while, kind of sleepily snoozle until about noon, and then get up and do the rest of the day. And yesterday did that and didn't wake up until nighttime. Well, I woke up briefly and was sick, and then I lay back down, and it was late nighttime, and I was still exhausted, and then woke up again and just was sick again this morning. This has been rough. Anyway, so I appreciate that, Candy, and everybody. You guys have been so kind. And again, I'm not saying this so that you feel sorry for me. I feel actually like I owe you an apology, right, for not being here, not being 100%, and being what you've come to expect. And I really try to bring value here, despite the dwindling numbers. And again, I say that at the beginning. I'm not kidding. It's a little bit of a relief when numbers, if they go up too high, I get a little nervous. Like, are you sure? Like, are you sure that this is the right place for you? Because we're a little weird around these parts. So, but the people who are here and intentionally here are exactly the right people, and that's who I want here. So anyway, let's move on. Let's do the actual stuff. I had some Psalms that I wanted to share with you this morning. I felt they were relevant, and I will. I still do. So we'll do that. So I'm going to do Psalm 14, probably Psalm 14 and 15. Let's see what we have here. All right. Common English Bible. I love you too, guys. I genuinely do, and I appreciate, again, your kind words and encouragement. I just feel, man, it's, I don't want to let anybody down. All right, so here we go. Psalm 14 from the Common English Bible. You can read along. Fools say in their hearts, there is no God. They are corrupt and they do evil things. and not one of them does anything good. The Lord looks down from heaven on humans to see if anyone's wise, see if anyone seeks God, but all of them have turned bad. Everyone is corrupt. No one does good, not even one person. Are they dumb, all these evildoers, devouring my people like they're eating bread, but never calling on the Lord? And you can count on it. They'll be in utter panic, because God is with the righteous generation. You evildoers may humiliate the plans of those who suffer, but the Lord is their refuge. Let Israel's salvation come out of Zion. When the Lord changes his people's circumstances for the better, Jacob will rejoice, Israel will celebrate. I want you just to remember there when he now speaks of Israel, you can count on the fact that that means his people. Right? It was a covenant that he made with Abraham and Abraham's seed. And with the sacrifice of Jesus, all people who were willing could be grafted in, adopted, as we're told in the books of Romans and Hebrews, that we could be grafted in like a plant, right? And so we are adopted children of God. So we're part of this. We're part of this promise that our salvation comes from God. So you don't have to get all weird or angry about a certain people group who have claims of one thing or another. This is Dad's promise to you, his children. Who can live in your tent, Lord? Who can dwell in your holy mountain? Right? So who is it? The Jew? No, the person who lives free of blame, who does what is right and speaks the truth sincerely. Now, again, there are some in our community who have a hostile attitude toward who they believe Dad to be, based on some descriptions or, again, it's interesting because some people you might consider that they'd be, again, understanding of the situation if you were, had somebody present you on videotape, but they presented it in a way that was out of context or not exactly how you meant it, not left the wrong impression. You'd understand that, right? Okay. Sometimes people take things out of context and present them in ways that they were not intended. It doesn't bring a reflection on the person who said the things, but on the person, rather, who placed it in the wrong context. I hope you understand that. All right. So if you take, my point being here is look at what if you want to know who Dad is, right, look at what he asked of his people. Here's what I want you to do. And so there's one group of people out there I know who the object of their adoration says, do whatever you want. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law, right? So do whatever the fuck you want. Okay, that seems pretty liberal. Okay, good. And you can see why there are some who would like that. Now, by contrast, look at what is asked by this parent. And perhaps you see that these things the parent asked for is self-discipline and self-control and good behavior. And you can see how, a rebellious child would think very poorly of a parent who asked those things and who would do everything in their power to slander such a parent. I'm just saying, look at it in this perspective. All right, so who gets to live with Dad? Who gets to be with Pops, right? The person who lives free of blame, who does what is right and speaks the truth sincerely, who does no damage with their talk, does no harm to a friend, doesn't insult a neighbor, someone who despises those who act wickedly, but honors those who honor the Lord, someone who keeps their promise even when it hurts, someone who doesn't lend money with interest, who won't accept a bribe against any innocent person. Whoever does these things will never stumble. Why would you hate someone who held those values and who wanted those values for their children? If you were here yesterday, you know that the title of the show is Rise and Shine. I suppose I neglected to introduce this. Isaiah 60. Arise and shine. Your light has come, and the Lord's glory has shone upon you. Though darkness covers the earth and gloom the nations, the Lord will shine upon you, and God's glory will appear over you, and nations will come to your light, and kings to your dawning radiance. Rise, my friends, and shine. To pray to God is a waste of time. What Well, perhaps. I mean, if that's your experience, I have a very different experience. It depends, I guess, maybe what your definition of prayer is, Steph. I talk to my friend and my dad and my creator, and he's my good friend, and he shares all kinds of wisdom with me. Mostly, how to be a decent person to those around me, how to correct the damage to my heart that was created by this world, how to present love to those who need it, and in fact those who are perhaps least deserving of it. I can tell you that that is not an idea that would come naturally to me. Like most people, I have probably more predisposition than most to think that I could outsmart someone or take advantage for myself, or put myself in an advantageous position compared to others so that I could lord it over them. And what I have learned instead is the better way is not power over, but power under. To develop yourself into the strongest and best possible person so that you can better support others and lift them up through their own struggles and trials, and help them in their journey, and leave a legacy of others who will do the same for those around them. That's the better path. And I only get that from my conversations and my intimate relationship with the Creator, because it never would have come to me. And it is not a quality that's really comes in so like naturally to me. I mean, there is compassion is natural to me. I have a natural affinity to people, but I also am very reviled by them at times in their behavior. And again, like most people, I can be tempted to, do as I will. That was the direct temptation. Do as thou wilt, and moreover, get other people to do your will for you. That's really the temptation. Observation tells me, and it was a temptation, especially in my younger years, but observation and age, hopefully wisdom, tells me that the better way, by far, is service. Power under, not power over. To lift people up, to encourage them, to strengthen them, and to use your strength to help them when they're not strong enough to carry themselves. Because there are days that you're not strong enough to carry even your own self, like I wasn't this morning. That happens. As strong as I consider myself to be, and from time to time I am. From time to time, I surprise even myself. And other times, I'm very disappointed in how weak I can be, how quickly I can cave and fold. I'm just too tired to deal with the bullshit, so I just give in. And I look at it later and go, man, that's not who I am. I mean, I don't have to make a scene every time, but I can certainly stand by my principles. Jay, I was mentioning it earlier. I didn't make any calls this weekend. I'm so sorry. I have not been well all weekend. I slept through the entire day yesterday, kind of unbeknownst to me. A little typical nap turned into 14 plus hours of sleep, and then still being exhausted, and went right back to bed. And not much better today. So we'll hopefully find out. Imaging occurs on Tuesday of this week. Should get the results back right away. So just a whole lot of fatigue and exhaustion, fatigue, and nausea, not feeling well, and unable to really to move on. So that's what that was about. So again, I so deeply apologize. And these are the kind of things that break my heart, because it makes me feel untrustworthy and like I'm losing my ethics, and it cannot be. I cannot do that, and so I'm going to have to, I guess, default to a position of where I can't make promises, and just have to play it by ear all the time, because I can't get into a position of saying that I'll making a commitment that I cannot keep. I can't do that. It's not fair to anyone, and I won't last long like that. Not I don't mean with you. I mean with me. I won't make it long that way. That's not who I am. I don't roll like that, right? So yeah, I could definitely use your continued prayers, and I appreciate those of you who have lifted me up and supported me during this time. I just, I don't know what's going on. I try not to make a big deal about it. It just, it is, and it's getting in my way, real bad right now, real bad, and it makes things very difficult to keep going. So, at least with any momentum, that's for sure, makes it really difficult. Let me. Let's talk about something good. Flattoberfest coming up. Make sure to get your tickets now. 2 full days of music and information, all in historic Spartanburg, South Carolina. Get your tickets now. Go to flatearthfestivals.com. I'll be there with bells on. Clothes probably, too. I hate to disappoint you. People prefer it. So here it is. Get your tickets. Do it now. If you don't, you're gonna be really super sad. You will be very disappointed in yourself, and you will feel badly. And you will be not the cool kid if you do not go to this thing. I'm not trying to influence you, but I am. Go to this damn thing. No, really, I want to meet you. I want to. You know what was super cool is that Solar Return. The number of people that I met who are regular listeners, but they don't comment, they don't send email. I mean, they're not in chat. I would never know. And they're beautiful people. And I mean, first, I think my response to that usually like, are they creepers? Are y'all creepers? No, they just don't. It's just not their thing. And but they're amazing people. I met a few people just like, oh my gosh, why? Why didn't you say howdy before? Because, man, you guys are awesome. I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to spend time with you. And yeah, right, Mojo? And this other stuff, right? Just and beyond that we can get this thing kicked into gear to do this communal living thing. I don't want to lose the momentum, and I feel like I'm still doing stuff here, but man, this illness is really, like I said, it's in the way, and I don't want to lose the momentum and the excitement. And there are people out there, not just a couple, there are several of you who are chomping at the bit so hard, right? And you're like getting ready your stuff and getting ready to go and going, well, if you're not going, I'm going somewhere. And I'm like, I don't want to miss them. I know everything's going to turn out the way it's supposed to be, and everybody's going to be where they need to be when they're supposed to be there. I have absolute confidence in that, right? Absolute confidence. But I don't want to be the one to get in the way, right? I don't want my stuff negatively impacting the community. It's my interest and my desire to support the community however I can, and that's my intention. So, and with that, let's get to today's topic: intention. You thought I was done, didn't you? Yeah, so did I. No, just kidding. We talk a lot about intention, and I think it's super important. Because, well, you know why, right? The power of life and death is in the tongue. That's what we're told, right? And so as we seed the world with our intention, I think it's super, super duper important. More even than you know. The more I dig into understanding the nature of the world, the more I think that intention, just about everything. I mean, it really does come down to intention. What's your intention? And then some people get caught up in the words, and I see this a lot. People get caught up in words. That words are spells. Yeah, they certainly. I mean, they manifest right there. There's that, right? But intention is necessary, right? So manifesting will. If there's no will behind it, it's weak. It might be weak sort of addition to the cadre of things, but intention is the key, right? And so don't be afraid, right? If you say, don't be afraid to say good morning to somebody. Oh, it's morning, and I'm saying I'm in mourning. Don't worry about it, right? Is that your intention to say I'm mourning today? I mean, if it is, then say what you mean, right? And in fact, Jesus told us, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be direct in what you mean. Let your intention be there, right? And people get caught up on what do we call that guy? Jesus, Yeshua, J-Bro, Yahoo, Hawa, Dude, we don't speak that language. I don't have the linguistic skills to do it right or do it justice. But I don't think that that's absolutely as necessary as the intention. If I call him Steve, I think he knows who I'm talking about because I know him, right? I know him. And he knows me. He can call me whatever he wants to. I'll answer because I know him. And, right, so I see, I saw a thing earlier, right? It's like, oh my gosh, is it true that in Baal means Lord, right? Then why do we call the Creator Lord? Like, well, okay. So again, semantics. Is it true that Baal could in ancient proto language be translated as sort of Lord, Master? Well, yeah, generically, like aspirin. I mean, so, but it doesn't. They're never used interchangeably in Scripture. Baal is never translated as Lord in terms of speaking of Jehovah, right, or Yeshua. So that's never the intention. In fact, many self-professed Satanists, they call the object of their affection the Dark Master, right? Well, it doesn't. But he said he would be like the Most High. And so it doesn't prevent me. It shouldn't prevent me from calling Dad my master because he is, right? I'm not going to let a counterfeit steal what's not his, whether that's crystals or a rainbow or chakras or whatever Dad made for us. I'm not letting the enemy steal and say it's his. Bullshit. Doesn't belong to him. He didn't make it. He can't create anything other than chaos and agony. He came only to rob, steal, and destroy. Fuck him. No, he doesn't get my a nod from me. You'll also find that typically I'd be quite. No, I don't give him too much credit. How about that? I don't spend a lot of time focusing on him. I know who he is. So I have a relationship with the enemy too, but not a good one. We're adversaries, and he wants me dead, and I'm not a big fan of his, her, whatever the fuck it is. I don't like it. I try to, I understand the situation, so hatred isn't often there, but sometimes it is. I'm pretty pissed at the shit that critter and its minions do. But I don't give them a lot of credit, because my dad's bigger than him. Fuck him. I'm just like, you ain't nothing. Go, so I don't need to taunt him, but that's not my intention. I'm not going to go play in that game either, because you find yourself in a lot of trouble. But I'm not scared, and I'm not going to play his game, right? The wicked flee when no one pursues, and the righteous are as bold as a lion. And so I get, from time to time, people give me a hard time about what you guys have put in chat. FTFF, fuck the fucking fuckers, right? Is that something that Jesus would say? I think in context, in the intention, I think yes. And let me qualify that. So we say things sometimes with different intentions, right? So consider the difference between, oh man, you know what? I need to be with my friends, or I need that car, right? Or if I were to go to attract a woman and go, I need you. I mean, that's just creepy, right? So there's a difference in saying those things. Oh, hey, Megsy, thank you so much. It's so great to see you. I'm so sorry we haven't gotten to speak more frequently. And that's so true with so many of you. I just love you guys. I love talking to you. I wish that I tell my wife all the time, if I just wish I could do this just all the time. I just sit there and just talk to people all day long and just be like, blah, blah, blah. I did. I said I'd just be back here and just calling people on Skype all day and getting to know people because you're awesome. Anyway. I think it doesn't matter what I think, right? It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what I think. I think it seems to matter more what you experience. And we're all going to experience something different. And it's those places where we have a shared experience that we can connect. And right now it seems as if people who have a different experience of a similar thing feel like they have to fight one another over what they experienced and what is true. And, well, let me go back and finish this thing on fuck the fucking fuckers because I don't want to forget it. I think in context he might, right? So this idea of like, what do I need, right? I can say that, and the intention is different in each of those things. If I need a beer, I need an Oreo, right? I need $100. I need to move. I need to get the fuck out of here, right? Those are different forms of need. It's all the same word. So what is it? What do we mean by that? And what's the intention behind it? Say, I love Dad, right? Or I love pizza. Thank you so much. But Big Bear, but no, that's bad fish bear. How am I doing? Right now, okay. Not great always. This morning wasn't great. This weekend, I mean, not complaining. My German friend, I used to love his stuff. When people say, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "I can't complain enough," because he's German. So anyway, this idea that keep in mind, what one of the studies is, right, in comedy, is that in English, jokes are funnier when it includes that hard k, right, CK. And so words that have that k sound in them are funnier. Now, again, interesting that we use those in some ways to imply sexual things and things. Interesting that those should be there, and we find humor in that. But they're words, right? They're words or sounds that you make with your lips, but there's meaning behind it, right? So I can hatefully say, "You're the best," right? Am I really giving you praise? No, intention has, everything. It's the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so, for a sense of humor, right? Perhaps I should have brought it up. There was a thing that we used to listen to back in the 90s, at the very beginning of the internet. A great recording of a guy who had that classic, just classic documentary television voice, and he was doing the etymology of the word fuck. And then he was showing how it could be diagrammed into just about any place in the English language, right? It could be intransitive or a transitive verb or a noun, right? So you could put it in just about any position, and then it finally comes to, fuck the fucking fuckers, right? It's everything. And it's kind of hilarious. And so when we get to this thing, and we were doing the Poppycock Report, and I'm just like, right, to express the idea that screw these guys, right? I don't care, right? And yes, you could take it up as some people do with an angry tone of like, I mean harm, right? Like, let's fuck these fucking fuckers up, right? And that was, and yes, I can see how, again, someone could take it that way, although that was never initially the intention. The intention was, why does the lion care about the mouse? I don't, right? The same intention why I say I never play chess with pigeons. Screw it. Fuck these guys, right? They're just They're a waste of your time. And so when I say that, right, that's my intention. It's right. Screw these guys. They mean nothing to me. They have no power over me. I ignore them. So in that sense, I think if you look at the language that Jesus actually used in the original language, he did have some pretty colorful things that he said. Not kidding. As did Paul and the disciples, and certainly some of the Old Testament prophets. They got, wow, look at what Elijah, right, said to the prophets of Baal when they were dancing around, right, and he had this bet with them about whose God would light up the offering, and they're running around. Look at what he said to them. Look at he taunted them. Look at what he said. I'll give you hands if you don't know where to look. He's like, what is he? Knock it off a piece? Has he got some fine lady? But he's using crude. He uses crude language. He's like, what is he? Relieving himself? He's off taking a dump somewhere. He's got to wipe before he can come. I mean, he's really harsh on these guys. It's quite amusing, but it's definitely not ecumenical language. I'll tell you that. It's gutter language. Now, we are admonished in the New Testament, right? And I would not disagree with this, right? To avoid such coarse language and coarse joking, and to be tempered with your speech at all times. Be wise. But I don't think Dad has got to stick up his butt. I mean, what culture has never found fart humor to be funny? It's funny. Animals laugh at farts. It's just funny. And he did that, right? He made sex beautiful and intimate and awkward and funny and weird, right? He's got a sense of humor. Look at a duck-billed platypus. Look at me, for fuck's sake. This is not the work of a serious deity, I promise you. Look at the zebra. The zebra, right? And the hyena. He's the sense of humor, and he laughs. He laughs. If he made us in his image, how could we not get jokes? Right? We have a sense of humor. Of course he's got a sense of humor. Some things just are funny. And some things well-timed are funny. But, again, some things that seem funny can be cruel. I always say truth, pain, comedy, right? They're like next-door neighbors. They hang out together. Their kids go to school together. They barbecue on weekends, right? Because something typically has to be true to be funny, and there's usually, as Marshall McLuhan says, there's a grievance behind it, right? So think of Seinfeld. So what's up with that, right? Like, I'm not a big Seinfeld fan, but you get what I'm saying here. There's usually some grievance behind it. There's you're making it look ridiculous. There's you're calling out its absurdity, and that's healthy, right? That relieves tension. Laughter is good medicine, right? Laughter is good for the bones. We're told that in Scripture. So don't be a fuddy-duddy, right? No need to have a stick up your butt. I have seen people with the stick up their butt has got to stick up its butt. It's like, oh man, no, you're doing it wrong. I mean, I guess not my place to tell people how to do it, but sometimes I look at it and I go, you're doing it wrong. Anyway. Intention, the power of intention. In everything that we do, in all that we do, right? What's your intention? If you monitored, like one of the things I had to do for counseling, right? I was doing anger management and substance abuse counseling as a counselor, not as the counseling. Not that at times I probably didn't need it for substance abuse, but that's another story. We'll leave that one alone. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one of the things I had to do in the training, right, is to track your self-dialogue. And we all have this self-dialogue, the things that you say to yourself. And we often don't even pay really conscious attention to it. It just happens constantly and frequently. And the really crazy thing is that when you do pay attention to it, if you start to monitor it, and that was the assignment, what you realize is that so much of it is negative. And I mean, some of it is brutal, like really brutal. And we're talking the basic stuff from, oh man, you dummy, or you always take the wrong lane. This happens every time. I should have known better. Fuck, I'm such an idiot. That stuff is pretty common and pretty constant, and in fact outweighs any positive results like, oh, you're awesome. And usually when you tell yourself you're awesome, in that moment you're not. You're just being full of bullshit. Anyway, we say a lot of harsh things to ourselves, and I discovered, again, at that time was when I discovered, to my horror, and I'd never consciously thought about it, as that the most commonly thing that I said to myself was that no one will ever really love you. And you can imagine what that did to every relationship in my life. I couldn't trust anybody. Anyway, point here being your perception of it and your intention in many ways create the reality around you. The limbic system will literally change the incoming data of your senses to match whatever you already believe. I'm going to say that again. The limbic system, the most basic part of your brain, what they call the lizard brain, reptilian brain. I don't buy it. I think it's a lie. Just like evolution is. It's a lie. They're saying that's the part of you that's like them. But maybe I've sometimes speculated that the limbic system came as a result of eating the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because it's the limbic system that then decides how you feel about things. Really, it does pattern recognition, and it chooses how you receive the incoming data into what group it goes into, and that's what we do with learning, right? Neuroplasticity is entirely based on grouping, pattern recognition, and pattern development. And so we group things together and we associate things, and that's really neural networking. That's really how it goes. That's what Facebook is about, right? Social networking. It's about what you associate with. And which of those associations light up, which groups come out of it. And that's exactly what you do in your head. You group things together in the incoming data. But if something is outside your belief system entirely, you will literally change the incoming data such that whatever you perceive is consistent with what you believe. You can't experience it differently. And so you're kind of fucked. I mean, that's really scary, because it means if you're not open-minded, if you have hard beliefs, and again, something, that's one of the things that I kind of resonated with Crow about, right? In that term, belief is the enemy of knowing, because in this sense, a hard belief without the ability to open-mindedly take in what you see literally will keep you from experiencing anything new. You literally can't experience anything outside what you already believe. You're fucked. Your life experience is over. Especially if you're trapped into defending that belief mindlessly and by rote because someone else told you. It's not even based on experience. It's based on the experience of someone telling you. No, again, this is what Marshall McLuhan describes as the difference between information, right? So information, you gather that, knowledge, right? But knowledge and understanding are completely different, because understanding provides the experience to go with it. You have the experience to know what to do with that information. It's the difference between the guy who wrote a book on climbing a mountain, but he's never been up one, right? He's read all these other books, and he aggregates the information, and he knows all about all the tools and all the moves, but he's never done it. But the Sherpa who has never read a book but has the experience is going to be the one that you want to take you to the top of the mountain, right? So in that sense, this experience is of primacy, that you're able to, as you're seeing on the screen right now, resonate with truth. Because when you resonate with a belief system which is predicated in a lie, then you will only always ever resonate with that. I see this over and over, and no offense to any of my friends that are former members of the LDS Church, but I see this over and over. Many people who grew up in that society, even when they leave and reject the belief, still resonate with many of its principles because it's part of their fiber. And they become attracted to similar things. I know a person who he rejected LDS, thought he was doing great, and went straight into Scientology. Because, again, it vibrated those same things. It resonated with them. And it takes time, right, to learn to reject the programming and to resonate with truth. And when you do, then you can begin following it. And that's where we come to my sheep will know my voice. We resonate with truth and with each other because it is true. But the source of all things is the Creator. All of this comes from the Creator. And so my experience, and again, my admonition, but it's not for me to tell anybody else what to do. This is my experience. Is that the best of everything, best of every part of my life is entirely centered around this relationship with the Creator, with perfection, with every moment that I spend in the presence of and in the contemplation of the Creator. It begs the question, why don't I spend my time doing it all the time? Well, because we're in the world, we have to do stuff. I can't be an ascetic and just, I mean, maybe I could. I don't think he's asked that of me, right? Just to be in the world, but not of it. I can't go live on a cliff and be a breatharian and do nothing but spend all my time doing it. It would be great. I would kind of love it, actually. But that's not what he asked of me, right? So what he asked of me is to be more like him and to observe his ways and to try to be like that. And then he corrects me when I don't, which is like most of the time. That's about 99% of the time. I'm like, oh. He's like, guys. I'm like, oh. He's like, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. I'm like, oh. He's like, you know what to do. Come on, dude, you know what to do. And he's right. The more we walk together, the more he's right. I know what to do, but I don't. And so, I really do understand Paul when he says the things that I want to do, I don't do, and the things that I don't want to do, I do. It's just maddening. It's like, what is wrong with me? I can be so weak-willed, just such a wussy, so easily. I mean, when it comes to that sort of stuff and making mistakes, the enemy doesn't have to really be very creative. We go for the same bullshit over and over because we're just weak. Like a dog returns to his vomit. I go for the same bullshit every time. Ah, dear. And so, again, how then, knowing these limitations of mine, how then can I judge anybody else and go, you're doing it wrong? I mean, my only admonition is, hey, I don't think that's going to be helpful, right? You may run around a long time out there before you realize that the desert is dry. And if you want some water, this is tasty water, right? I don't know what yours will taste like, but to me, right? So I know water is tasty, and I rarely find anybody who comes to the well that doesn't get their thirst quenched. That's the best way I'd describe it. You do you, right? But the well is the Creator, and it's the source of life itself. That's my observation and experience, that what I've come to, and that all the information in the universe, all knowledge and all wisdom, will not improve your relationship with the Creator. In fact, in many ways, it will damage it because you're going to, challenge him, and you can't win that one. He created stuff, like he designed you. I don't think you can do that. So he's got you beat in all those aspects. But not just that, he's way better in every way. In as far above you as he is in intelligence and the ability to design and create, he's that way in being good and love, just the very definition of love. And there's no better thing that you could do with your life than to get to know that source of love better. Because you know what? My observation also is that we have a very intrinsic, deep need for exactly that love. We're meant to have it. It is life to us. And we spend all of our life in desperate search of it. In fact, we're willing to harm others. We do the opposite of love. We act out of fear and try to take it. But you can't steal love. It just doesn't work. And that's why we are where we are. That's why sin exists in the first place, because you can't steal love. You can't take it. You It has to be given. And there are some who are selfish and just don't want to give it. And you can't fix that. He that has ears to hear, let him hear. I love you guys. All right. So look, if I here's the deal. If I had an appointment with you this weekend, do me a favor, please. You're not bugging me. Just do me a favor. Ping me via email or Skype if that's our connection. But just ping me and just remind me that to put you back in the calendar, and we'll try to reschedule. And bear with me, please. I was like, okay, I had several that had slipped, and I felt really bad, and I was going to try to put it all in yesterday. I'm like, okay, I set the whole day aside, and it just did not happen. And I feel really, really badly about it. And I promise I'm not like on drugs or anything. I didn't spend the day doing meth or anything. Nope. I have been ill. I could show you pictures of the vomit if you want. I have a bunch of pictures of those that I took to record it for the doctor to show you without show her what that is all about. But anyway, I don't know. I had a couple other things I was going to get into. I think I'm just going to let it be right now. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, Karen B. Karen B. Don't forget, sign up for Flattoberfest. You want to do that. I know it's way out there, but you don't want to forget. There is limited availability, and if it goes away, I mean, if it gets full, it'll get full. I don't know what we can do about it. I know it is a limited capacity. No masks, but it is a limited capacity. So you better get in. It's 2 full days, and you got everybody there. So even me, I'm even going to go. I don't know if I want to do anything, but I'm going to go. Karen said she wanted me to do something. I'm like, I just want to meet people. I just want to hang out with people. Maybe I'll noodle or something. I don't know. I always like doing something. Like, I like making coffee, but, I can't, just because I like to serve people. And, but it becomes a real fucking big production, right? Because it's complicated. It's a deal. And I can't quite do it the way I do it at home, so it's not really quite the same. But it's a representation of it. But it's fun. I like to serve people, and people enjoy it, right? And it's a great way to connect with people. And frankly, it also serves as a way that I can put a barrier too, right? If I get uncomfortable, and sometimes I do, honestly, and so it allows me to kind of refocus into that. So it's a good thing. But can't do that there because no outside food or drink. And I considered bringing some of the healing stuff, and even the heated massage table, and doing some of the healing stuff with touch and sound. But I don't know how strict they are in that state, and I am not licensed for any sort of therapy work in South Carolina. So I don't want to get in trouble or get anybody in trouble. So I'll just make some coffee at the hotel, and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe noodle. We'll see what happens. But I want to meet you, right? And we can certainly hang out. That'll be a lot of fun. And you can hang out with other people. And if you're single, I think there is a single mingle, a secret single mingle. And it's so secret that I feel kind of left out. Like, I'm not single, but I kind of want to, be on the cool side. So let's see if I can talk Karen into hipping me to the tip, so I know what the the scoop is, because I don't like being left out. I'm that guy, right? I want to know everything. I'm terrible. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, I love you. I would, from most of these things, guys, you know what? Most times on the streams, I would just never leave. I'd just stay here and we'd just hang out. If we were in person, I'd just move in together. I mean, that's why we're going to do that, right? Hang out. Just always be together and hang out. It'd be awesome. Let's see, what do I got? Streams in the desert, I think is what I'll do for you today. Because that's just, I don't know. It's the kind of day it is, I guess. Unless anybody throws up a request really quick before I get to it. But, I considered talking to Karen earlier and was asking about, I said, hey, I'll, whatever you need me to do. And talking about presentation stuff, I think everybody's wanting to present, so it's like, nothing I'm going to say is going to be groundbreaking. Although for a minute I thought, wouldn't it be great? I thought maybe I could set a deadline for myself. I've been trying to put the Awakening Project data in a form, at least the first round, that you guys can see it. I mean, much of it I know of, and it really needs a lot of work still, especially for round 2. It's not even close to where it ought to be, but there's certainly enough that you can, get some immediate stuff out of. I could certainly do a presentation, but I would have to do it. And so I thought, maybe if I set a deadline for myself, I'll actually do it. And I thought, oh my God, in the midst of being, trying to do the health stuff and then move. Oh, no. Okay. Maybe not. And then that made me feel like, again, I got the super guilty thing going, oh my God, I've been supposed to be working on that forever. And I hadn't completely forgot about it, but every week I spend a little bit of time just organizing things and going back through and trying to read back through emails and correlate things and go, okay, well, I'm looking for this, looking for that. Did anybody say this about this? And if I'm looking for something, and then, jokes, new jokes. Yes, I need new jokes. Great. I know. Lay off the weed and cigarettes. Well, I don't really smoke much in the way of weed, almost at all. But cigarettes, yes, do need to go. And the whole thing has been worse with this other thing. So, yes, well advised. Yes. Yeah, poppers. Yeah, I've had. That can be tough on your throat. Same with nitrous. Like nitrous oxide can be have its challenges as well. Anyway, all things in moderation, right? All things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. Yeah, Aaron, I smoked for a long time, and I've quit several times successfully. Or, as Mark Twain said, quitting smoking is easy. I do it all the time. But no, but no, I have quit several times. But, never longer than 2 years at the most. And then always a slippery slope. So anyway. All right, guys. Love you. Love you a long time. Love you too much. I wasn't going to say it, Rob. I knew that, but I wasn't going to say it because I thought I'd maybe go, hey, why do you know that? Anyway, I'll leave you guys with this. Hope you guys have a delightful weekend. If you haven't joined Rockfin, you should, because starting on Monday, 4:20 in the morning, get some of those Sonic Spectra stuff in there together. And it's just a short thing, but early in the morning, 4:20 on the West Coast. So hope you can join me for that. We'll try to make that a daily thing. Get you some sonic healing. So Streams in the Desert from 1994. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great night. See you again next time.
Feel the night, face the day, watch the starlight slip away, trust the light, pray for dawn. In the morning, see the sun. I cross the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my eyes, found a river inside. speak, none are heard. Silence has the final word. Stories all sound the same till you hear them call your name. I cross the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my eyes, found a river inside that flows to the end of time. Fading sun sinks again. Night as always makes amends. But as we sleep, dreams reveal all the knowledge we conceal. And I cross the desert to find the well was dry. I closed my eyes, found a river inside that flows